Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wrestling Tonight. This is Hollywood Matt Connelly with the double biceps. It is in the contract a legal requirement every single time we appear on camera. We are appearing on camera right this minute. The man to my left, but could be to your right, depending on which side of the screen you are looking at. It is the co-host, the co-founder, the co-breather of air, the co-wearer of clothes in this very virtual room. It is none other than the master of disaster, the king of sting, the count of Monte Cristo. It is Thunderlips, the ultimate male. It is the Siberian Bull. It is your friend and mine. It is the winner of the Dave Stockbridge of the Year Award, the illustrious award held by the illustrious man with the illustrious beard. It is none other than Dave Stockbridge. Welcome.
Oh, well, what a wonderful welcome as always, Hollywood Matt Connelly. Well, it has been a big week in the world of AWE, and it continues to be as this Sunday night, it all goes down at the Adelaide Oval. It's going to be a huge night, two massive matchups, two championship matchups, two titles on the line. We have in the ring Mateo Rungi, the Beast, Hedda Morris. He's taking on Brett Coots for the AWE Intercontinental Belt. But first cab off the rank will be Lachlan Adair against Brett Coots on left hand. Now we have stretched out that gap between those two matches another hour or so to ensure that Brett is as fresh as possible for that second matchup with New Zealand's #1 arm wrestler. But Lachlan Adair, the Oceanic Lineal champion on left and right hand, he will be taking on Brett Coots, who is the AWE left-hand champion for the undisputed left-hand Oceanic belt. Hollywood Matt Connelly, it's going to be a spectacular night.
It's going to be absolutely massive. Three giant men in the world of arm wrestling. You pick the three biggest guys basically for this event. Matt Orangi walking in 175 kilos, which is just insane. That's
incredible,
almost double my weight, which is just ridiculous. And then you've got Brett and Lachlan sitting probably around even. They're about 105, 108, around that mark, depending on the time of day, I guess. But it is going to be a tremendous event. It's going to be the Adelaide Oval. People can tune in via the pay-per-view link. You also get, as part of that, the entire Diamondback Fighting Championship MMA card, and you'll not only see the two AWE arm wrestling matches, but you'll get to see an entire plethora of Diamondback Fighting Championship, and there is some incredible matches on that card as well. So if you are looking at seeing the arm wrestling, you'll be in for a treat to see the MMA side of it as well. But if you don't want to buy the pay-per-view, but you're here in Adelaide and you want to come along, you can do that by going to diamondbackfc.com, the website there. You can get tickets online. I think the general admission tickets are about $75, but that again gets you in the door and you will see the entire event, not just the arm wrestling side of things. But if you are not here in person and you don't want to buy the pay-per-view, that is okay. You can see these matches on our YouTube channel. Next Thursday, we'll have everything released as part of a special package, and we can shine up the matches, get them edited up and looking good, and we'll present that out to everybody next Thursday. So lots to see and very, very exciting stuff.
Yes. Well, it's a multidiscipline combat sports event, this one. You will see K1 in the cage. So for those that aren't familiar, K1, it's kickboxing. That's inside the cage. Caged Muay Thai, which is one of my favorite forms of combat sports to see inside the cage. It is it's usually a bloodbath, but it does show all the best bits of what I think is the best bits of MMA: stand up, striking, knees, elbows. It's got the lot. It's absolutely spectacular and always quite quickly paced as well. And we've also got combat BJJ inside the cage, and of course arm wrestling, the sport we all love, and that's all brought to you by Diamondback Fighting Championship. We want to thank our friends over at Diamondback as well, Craig Ike and Greg Hearn, who've been real supporters of AWE every step of the way. They hosted our very first event at AWE 1 and continue to this day to be by our side and encouraging us to continue to help the sport of arm wrestling grow. These guys are pioneers in the world of MMA, and they are certainly two men who have really gotten behind our sport, and we're very, very grateful for their wonderful support, and can't wait to be there this Sunday for another installment of CFC 23. Can you believe we're up to 23 already? There's going to be some great matchups, some spectacular fights, and of course some great arm wrestling action. So Hollywood Matt Connelly, we've had we've had all three of the men on the podcast over the last week or so. You've had an opportunity to speak to them both on screen and behind the scenes, and you're starting to get a bit of a feel for you're cutting through all of the chat, all the back and forth, and all of the smack talk, and you're probably better placed than almost anybody else on the planet to have some insights as to how the men are actually thinking and feeling about their matchups at this stage. And so what are some of your thoughts? Let's firstly talk about the left-hand oceanic belt between Lachlan Adair and Brett Coots. You've had a chance to interview both men. You've spoken to them in private as well. How do you feel that their preparation has gone, and who seems to be best placed with that preparation in order to put their best foot forward come Sunday night?
Absolutely. Well, the fun thing is that all three of these guys, as soon as we're off air, all three of them separately have said, I'm telling you, I'm in the best shape of my life. They've got no chance whatsoever. But they've all said that. just telling you, I'm going to absolutely destroy them. And all three guys have said, it's like, well, okay, well, this is exciting because somebody's going to be wrong. So, yeah, Lachlan Adair and Brett Coots, left-hand match, which is going to be incredible to see. And I think a lot of people really have wanted to see this, especially seeing Brett get his win over Rickard. And there was that little bit of a, well, is Brett the number one or is Lachlan the number one? And we get to find out on Sunday. It will be very, very exciting. There's a little bit of the unknown factor for Lachlan's left because we haven't seen it in action for a little while as compared to Brett. But he's supremely confident that he's, what does he say? He trained it for 6 weeks and it grew an inch or something. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
It's absolutely insane. These men are freaks. Lachlan Adair, given that he's rested that arm for so long, that gives me some trepidation about his chances, knowing that this is Brett's. This is the left hand is really Brett's baby. This is something that, although he's performed exceptionally well on right, and he is competing for that right hand belt on Saturday, almost everybody is in agreement that Brett is at his best on left. Brett himself reports that his left arm measures bigger than his right. Brett feels very, very comfortable with his preparation. Feels great right now. The injury that he sustained in a fall at work a few weeks ago was to his right. So you might say, oh, well, let's put that aside. And that might mean, he's not the favorite in the later match in the evening. But on left, there doesn't seem to be any reason. Now, the only concern, and I guess we've both had the opportunity to see both men take on Bowen Quintado. And this is maybe too long ago now for it to be relevant, because Brett does report substantial gains over the last even 6 months, and even since his match with Rickard. So that being the case, I don't know how much you can read into that, but we have shown on this podcast on a few occasions a war that Brett Coots had with Bowen Quintado. And you might say in some part that was a real competition in styles as much as anything, and Bowen's long levers and ability to come over the top and get a dominant hand position and cup over Brett might have been the deciding factor as to why Bowen appears to have done so well in those rounds, although not winning any of the rounds. Each round he seemed to start off with the advantage, and certainly off the line had the advantage. But in matchups at AWE Underground Series sometime before, and maybe this is a year before, we see that Lachlan Adair went through Bowen Quintado seemingly with ease on left. But here's the other thing. Bowen Quintado is such a young man that he is improving so rapidly that if there's a gap of 6 months or so, there's every chance that by the time he'd gotten around to this match that we're now watching on screen with Brett Coots, that he'd already grown in strength. He'd already gone up a level or two. So it is really difficult. There's no evidence that you can really sink your teeth into that would lead a betting man to put the house on either man. And that's what makes this matchup so intriguing for arm wrestling fans. And I think either way, we're going to see peak Brett Coots against Lachlan Adair, who's at the height of his powers at the moment, and both men feeling very, very confident. And that's what you want. There's no excuses from either of them. They both feel like they've done everything they can to give themselves every chance of success come this Sunday. And it's too close to call, I think, is what I'm trying to say here. And there's not enough evidence one way or the other as to where you might put your money if you happen to be a betting man.
Yeah, I mean, geez, if you were the bookie for this, you'd have it dead even, I think, and you'd almost be hesitant to take bets on it because it's just like, I don't know which way it's going to go. It is such a difficult match to pick. I would say that Lachlan may be a slight favorite, but yeah, Brett definitely doesn't seem to think that he is.
Yeah. Well, you have to kind of side in when in doubt. You've got to go with the lineal champion at that stage. That is Lachlan Adair, and he's been nominally the number one guy in Australia for quite some time. He's the over the top champion. He's remained undefeated on right hand in this country for a very, very long time now. He really came out of COVID nominally the number one arm wrestler in the country, and has really maintained that position over the last 3 or 4 years. And so and it's been wonderful to see his star rise, and to see him competing on the biggest stages of the world. Now, I mean, this might also be encouraging, and this seemingly is before the hustle strap was fully set in. If we're talking to Lachlan and Adair, and now we see some little micro adjustments there in Devon's
micro adjustments. He's pulling his whole arm off the top. Look at this.
Lachlan's there. We go. Lachlan was able to keep it. Now we see that. Oh, there we go. We see a tightening, and then we see this is a real good back and forth. And Lachlan just with his sheer horsepower. Now, of the two men, Lachlan Adair is actually the left-handed, although his left arm does measure less than his right, and he's certainly given a lot of focus to right because that's certainly the money arm in the sport currently. But you can see here that Lachlan Adair can genuinely hang with the best in the world, and so this is going to cause Brett Coots some concern, or maybe it gives Brett some pause to devise a strategy, because there's not a lot of footage outside of this of Lachlan Adair on left hand that's emerged recently. So I'm sure Brett's been taking notes and trying to work out what his path will be and what his shape will need to be in order to walk away with the belt over his shoulder come this Sunday night.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, it's going to be a tremendous match. And then following that match, we've got our second championship match, and it's for the Intercontinental belt, which was at one point held by Mato Warangi Hetamoris. He was the inaugural winner for the second time, and he managed to take that title from Ryan Bowen. Well, actually, Ryan didn't have the title; it was put up at AWE 1. It was a vacant belt. Matei Urangi getting the win there and becoming the title holder, losing it to Todd Hutchings. We did reset the belt because Todd was not able to continue competing with any other organization after he'd signed his deal. And then we put the belt up with Ryan Bowen and Mazahir Saidu over in India, and it was a tremendous battle and one of the best matches you'll ever see. Which is still up on, I think it's either on our page or on Ryan's page. But
no, it's on that match is on our page, on
fantastic.
the AWE page, and I think it's now being watched by nearly 170,000 times. It's absolutely huge. There's a really good video on the AWE Instagram page that takes you through the history of the AWE Intercontinental Belt, because some people have asked, well, they understand Rickett Borman is the AWE champion, and he is the right-hand heavyweight champion, undisputed. But we have also this other belt, which is the Intercontinental Belt, and that's got its own little lineage and story. And unlike the right-hand belt, which is passed from, that was originally contested between, the heavyweight belt was contested between Gunter Spykovs and
Mario
Timbarkas at AWE 1, and Gunter's walked away with the belt on that occasion, and then from memory, Gunter's lost that belt to Ryan Bowen.
He did. That's correct.
Yeah, and so Ryan picked that up at an AWE T-Series event from memory, and then Ryan lost the belt at the AWE Grand Prix 1 event to Rickett Borman, who beat out the best in the Southern Hemisphere in a 8-man double elimination tournament, and then retained that belt at Grand Prix 2. So Rickett has defended that title. So that's the story of the heavyweight belt, which is separate to this Intercontinental belt. This Intercontinental belt was originally devised because we did have an Intercontinental match lined up for it originally, which would have been Ryan Bowen versus Chance Shaw. So this was the idea that we'd have a separate belt for big international matches, and of course, when that match fell through, we were looking for international competitors, and of course, Matei Urangi was the man that came through for us and made his way across the pond in order to compete for that belt, and won that belt quite decisively in a hard-fought battle inside the cage at AWE 1. So I think, yes, that's the video for
Jordan Sill.
That's Lachlan Adair versus Brett Coots.
Jordan Sill, I think, who was going against.
Sorry, that's the promo.
Oh, sorry, you're
Lachlan
right.
Brett. Not the.
Where's the other one?
You might have to go back a few to the face, I think, of Matei Urangi.
Okay, here we go.
No, not that one.
Okay.
Let's try not that one.
There's so many of them.
There we go.
That's the one. Do you want the sound?
Yeah, why not?
Matei Urangi, the Beast, Head Morris, takes on Ryan Bowen to secure the inaugural AWE Intercontinental Championship. Fast forward to July 23 at AWE 2, where Head Morris attempted to defend his title against Todd Hutchings in a grueling match inside the cage, ultimately falling short, seeing the Intercontinental belt go stateside. The belt now surrendered. It found its way to India in November 24. The now vacated belt being contested by Indian champion Mazahir Saidu and Ryan Bowen, with Ryan Bowen prevailing in an epic match that became the most watched match in AWE history. In April 24, Bowen surrendered the title, leaving it vacant once again, to be contested between AWE #1 contender and left arm AWE heavyweight champion Brett Coots, who takes on the former and inaugural AWE Intercontinental Champion Matairangi the Beast Heta Morris. Will Brett Coots add another title to his collection, or will the Beast reclaim his Intercontinental belt? We'll find out June 22. Be there. February.
Ooh, there we go.
Ooh, be there. There you
Be
go.
there.
Yeah, well, you can be there too. All you got to do is head over to diamondbackfc.com and you can still get yourself a ticket to be cage side for the event. If you are in Australia, you can make your way over and you can secure your ticket. All the early bird tickets are gone, so I believe that seated tickets are starting from $75 and working their way up from there. You can be cage side for about $200. So if you want to be a part of the action, that's the easiest way to do it. And if you can't be there in person, but you do have to see it live, well, then you can certainly do that by heading over to the same website and clicking on the pay-per-view button, and you can watch it for $49 and have yourself a watch party like Ashley Hoyta and the Brothers in Arms Arm Wrestling Club over there in Hamilton, New Zealand, who'll be tuning in and enjoying each other's company and some fantastic arm wrestling action. And I reckon with Matairangi's match being on at about 9:30, that's close to about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning for those guys. So it'll be a late night, but I'm sure they'll be enjoying every second of it. So Hollywood Matt Connelly, maybe we'll head over to the comments before we go away.
Absolutely. We did just receive a comment from Angie, who says that you did a great job on the voiceover for that video. So yes, I think you did too. I think it was a tremendous video there, and well done for putting that all together. It came out fantastically. Richard Jennings has got some interesting comments in the chat today. He says that he just got out of bed. He's sitting here with his coffee. He's getting ready for his 3-year-old and 6-year-old's birthday party on the weekend. Oof. Which I said, oh, you got 2 birthdays on the same weekend. And he said his daughter's was the 15th, his son's is the 25th. We're going to have them together, and then they can sort themselves out next year. But he works 6 days a week, 10 hours a day, 1 p.m. till 11 p.m. I don't get to bed till after midnight. And now I'm up again at 7 a.m. He says that his kids were, so thank you. They are my angels, and my son saved my life and made me change 100% for the best. And
so stop being a top roller then, and gotcha.
He says he got hurt as a power linesman, started taking pain pills for 16 years, really bad. Tried a couple of times to get off of them, but I couldn't until my son was born, and now I'm over 5.5 years clean and
good work,
amazingly well. So he started arm wrestling 4.5 years ago. I'm ranked 2nd in Atlantic Canada.
Wow.
Eastern Canada. And he says watching shows like Maths gave me so much positive attitude to get through every day, and the first hour of every day is the only part of the day that is still hard. So I sit here with my coffee and my puff of weed to get me going for the day. Arm wrestling family around the world has helped me so much, and hanging out with people like Devin and Jody a few times a year and other top Canadians. He says, see, Matt, you never know who's watching your show and how much they really help people by having a positive people in your life and the start of your day than having bullshit. So there we go.
Very good. That's wonderful. That's wonderful to hear, Richard.
Absolutely.
It really is.
And
I've been on a bit of an abstinence path myself over the last 5 months now. So no alcohol, no substances of any kind.
No sleep.
No sleep. Haven't slept either. So
no breathing.
So yeah, good on you, mate. Well done. It's a tough thing to do, and it's so wonderful to hear that Hollywood's been a support for you, albeit from afar. It's just wonderful to see this community of arm wrestlers coming together in ways that we could never have imagined.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. We've also got David Jensen, who's jumped in. He has his own podcast, which he's doing in Canada as well. Lots of Canadians in today.
Wonderful.
Tremendous to see. Lucky Wood in from the Lucky Ones podcast, another podcaster for females in arm wrestling, Saturday nights. She does a tremendous podcast targeted towards getting more women involved in the sport of arm wrestling.
Very good.
We'd love to see that happen. Franch has been on there a couple of times as well.
Wonderful. I think if there's more attractive men in arm wrestling, more women will want to watch. I'd be interested in your thoughts.
It's true though.
Yeah.
Let me just finish up here. Josh Barker's jumped in as well. He says he can't wait for the matches on the weekend. The super matches seem to be more popular than the 8-man events. Well, I think they've both been going quite nicely, but it is always fun when you've got actually I like both. I loved the unknown factor of the tournament, and we saw some massive upsets throughout that. But yes, the super match is definitely a lot of fun as well.
Yeah. There's several factors that associate with how well an event is received online. So timing can be one thing. The weight categories can be another. The matchups and the build up and the followership of the athletes themselves is another. There are so many factors, but I firmly believe that there's a place for several types of formats to coexist within arm wrestling legitimately. And one of the things I really like about the 8-man tournament structure of the Grand Prix events is that it doesn't impair or impede the athlete's ability to make that next step when it comes to their super match career. So they might already have matches that are booked in or that they're preparing for, or they might have a particular ranking or a title, and a loss can maybe trip them over in terms of their progress or their opportunities to maybe springboard into a bigger say event or land themselves on a particular promotion. But with the tournament structure, it doesn't really impede the athlete's ability to make those steps. And if they have a loss, they have a loss. That's just part of almost the fluke factor of the event. But whereas with the super matches, it's much more has more consequence, I think, for the athlete's ability to be able to progress their own career. It's an interesting one, Josh, and I do see where you're coming from, but I also feel like there's different formats that can still be of huge appeal. Matt's found a comment he likes.
No, just the way that you said that, it was like, Josh, yes, well, no, I do see your point, but you're wrong. You're actually wrong, Josh. Yeah, stop
Josh. Is that how you heard it? Oh.
No, not at all. That's why I was laughing. That's great. What do we got here? Lucky says, I think the Aussie men need to come to the States more and draw in the attention.
Those Aussie men, they're very attractive.
I've been to Canada. I lived in Canada, Richard. I was in Vancouver for 6 months.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know this about you. Very well-traveled man.
Yes. Well, it was very similar to Adelaide, actually, Vancouver.
Yeah.
It was a lot of Australians there.
Well, that doesn't sound like any Australian capital city anymore. Hollywood Matt Connelly, big event, too close to call. Of course, the left hand, the Oceanic belt on the line, the right hand, intercontinental belt on the line, 3 men, 2 titles. Well, it could be a massive night for Brett Coots. And it's been wonderful to see Rickard Borman springboard into East versus West. And of course, we wish Rickard all the very best of luck with his matchup against Wallace Dilley this weekend as well. So wonderful to see him use at the AWE platform to springboard into East versus West. And we just when we started AWE, the whole idea was to shine a light on the athletes so that this could be a platform that they could then use to progress their careers, whether that's with AWE or elsewhere. If we were able to pay our athletes $1 million a year, we would, and we would want them to become professionals. And that's really what we want from the sport of arm wrestling, is for our stars, the arm wrestlers themselves, the athletes, to be able to give up their day jobs and just dedicate their lives to this sport. And for young kids that are coming through to have in the back of their minds that if they're really good and they train really hard and they do all the right things, that maybe that's something that they can also do. And so we're really excited when we see somebody like Rickett Bauman make his way through the ranks and find his way to East versus West. And Lachlan Adair has already, made that journey in competing overseas and on the biggest stages of the world. And Brett Coots, if he walks away with 2 more belts after this, well, he could be doing the same. And of course, Mateo Rangi, he's a regular around the world. So he's already there. So we're very, very blessed to have some really high caliber athletes in this country knocking on the door of making this their full-time profession. So I'm glad that Lucky's there with us in supporting Rickett as well. And I think he's carrying the flag for more than just South Africa this weekend. He really is. He's got a huge fan base, and we hope that he comes through with the win as well, and comes back to Australia via South Africa with another W against his name.
There you go. Absolutely. Yes, I will be heading to the States in August, and Lucky says that she will hunt me down. I think actually we will probably schedule a table session with Lucky. I think she's too far away from where I'm headed, so yeah, but it should be a lot of fun.
Very good. It'd be good for you to find somebody that you might be able to beat over there as well.
If she beats me as well, I'll be like, Lucky, let me win, please.
Please.
Just let me get the first one in, and then I can relax.
Well, thank you to everybody that's continued to support the AWE, that jumps in on the comments and is watching from afar. We love you. We thank you. We can't wait to see you again very, very soon. We'll be in the trenches preparing for the event this Sunday, so we might not see you tomorrow evening, but what you will see is a whole bunch of behind the scenes footage. You'll certainly be seeing more of Hollywood Matt Connelly and myself as we step you through some of the behind the scenes and show you some of the event from our perspective over the weekend. And then as Matt said, we cannot wait to release the whole event to you in a 1-hour AWE special next week. So certainly stay tuned to that. And if you haven't already, please like the AWE page. Please subscribe to it after you've liked this video. And if you are watching this podcast, then you can now also do so on the AWE YouTube channel. Of course, if you are watching on Hollywood Matt Connelly's channel, we implore you to stay here as well, because there's a whole lot more Hollywood Matt Connelly that comes your way during the course of the week. So please stay tuned, and we will look forward to bringing you more of the AWE action over the weekend. Hollywood Matt Connelly, any final thoughts before we go home?
Absolutely. We've got a super chat in from Lucky. She's given $1.99 US, which is about 500,000 Australian dollars at the moment.
That's a deposit for a house in Australia.
It is, yes. And she says, "Thank you both for being great advocates." Well, thank you very much, Lucky. We wouldn't do it if we didn't love the sport, and we absolutely love the arm wrestling community as well. Filled with wonderful people, and we've had some incredible experiences around the world. Richard also says, "Amazing show this morning, night, depending where you are in the world." Then yes, that I think wraps it up quite nicely. So thank you again. We will be busy this weekend with running the event, but we will be back, and you can see all of the action take place on the AWE Underground YouTube channel. Keep posted there.
We'll see you tomorrow. Well, we won't see you, but you might see us. So we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.
Take care.